So Maya and I were stuck in a pretty weird situation. She was the daughter the Vance family didn't really want to talk about, and I was the son the Reed family tried their best to forget. Because we were in the same boat, we ended up relying on each other a lot, and honestly, we were really in love. I'm talking about the kind of love where I once jumped into a gross drainage ditch just to help her out, coming out smelling like absolute garbage. She had promised, standing right there at her dad's grave, that she would never turn her back on me. But then, everything shifted. The main heir to the Vance family suddenly got sick and passed away. Just like that, Maya was invited back into the fold. The same people who used to make fun of her were now tripping over themselves to get her coffee. She had this look in her eyes, like she had finally won a game she'd been playing forever. She told me that nobody would ever mess with us again. But a little while later, she was laughing and chatting with that same group of people, acting like they had been best buddies since kindergarten. Someone brought up my name, and then they started talking about the recently found heir to the Sterling fortune. From the middle of the group, Maya spoke up. She said, "Liam is the love of my life, sure, but he's illegitimate. His status is low. He really can't compare to the Sterling heir. It's like comparing dirt to the moon. They are totally different worlds. The marriage alliance with the Sterlings is something I have to do. As for Liam, I'll just take care of him for the rest of his life." What she didn't know was that 3 months ago, my birth parents actually found me. I'm not illegitimate at all. I'm the sole heir to the Sterling family, which happens to be one of the richest families in the country. At the charity auction, Maya bought a luxury watch for something like $4 million. Right in front of everyone, she personally put it on my wrist. Cameras were flashing everywhere. She gave a soft smile, kissed me on the cheek, and called me the greatest treasure of her life. I felt my face get hot with all the attention. I gently pushed her away a little, mumbling, "Everyone is watching." She just raised an eyebrow, gave my hand a squeeze, and interlocked her fingers with mine. Then she turned to the crowd and said, "Liam is my treasure. Does anyone have a problem with that?" Everyone just shook their heads and smiled, murmuring compliments. It was the usual stuff about what a picture-perfect couple we were. A young woman getting her first real taste of power always wants to be seen, wants to be admired by everyone. But I never really liked these kinds of events, especially with all those familiar faces, their eyes filled with a weird mix of calculation and judgment. It was gross. During the break, I used the excuse of needing the bathroom to finally get away from the show. I looked at myself in the mirror, the watch on my wrist looking flashy and expensive. But Maya had said we were family, lovers. Now that she had the money, she wanted to treat me better, to make up for all the years of garbage I'd put up with for her. And for that, I was happy. Seeing the love of my life successful and admired, no longer getting kicked around by others, made me happier than anyone. Tharon. I had seen her struggles over the years, and I knew how badly she wanted this. Thankfully, things were getting better. We both had a bright future ahead of us. The break was over half an hour long. After leaving the restroom, I walked down the hall, but didn't go back to the main room right away. I turned a corner, planning to get some fresh air in the small garden behind the building. I didn't expect to find a group of people already hanging out there, people I absolutely couldn't stand. I wanted to turn around and leave immediately, but before I could move, a familiar face popped up in the crowd. Maya. Seeing her there, I felt this weird panic and instinctively wanted to run over. For years, because of our background, we had been looked down on and bullied, especially by Chloe, Sarah, and Jen, who were in that crowd. The three of them seemed to have this sick hobby of messing with Maya and me since we were kids, using every mean trick they could think of. Whether it was putting bugs in our room, messing with our food, or that time I got a broken rib. Even that smelly ditch behind the old apartment building was proof of how mean they were. I was actually afraid of them, enough that it left me with some bad memories. But if they dared to mess with Maya, no matter how scared I was, I would fight them. Without hesitating, I started walking toward them. But I'd only taken a few steps when I saw Maya casually put her arm around Chloe's shoulder. Chloe just shrugged and smiled at her. Sarah then brought over 2 glasses of wine and handed them out. Even Jen, the snobbiest of them all, was smiling and clinking glasses with Maya. They looked like great friends. I stopped walking, completely confused. This couldn't be right. These three were awful. Maya and I hated them so much we used to talk about how much we wished they would disappear. While I was still trying to figure it out, Maya was the one who spoke up. I booked a VIP room at the club tonight. We're not leaving until we're all having a good time. Chloe was the first to answer. Of course, we'll be there for the new Miss Vance. We're all sisters, aren't we? Sarah nodded. Yeah, definitely. Only Jen spoke up, a nasty smile on her face. We'll definitely be there. But that illegitimate Reed kid, is he really going to let you go to a nightclub? Chloe quickly jumped in. Speaking of Liam, are you really planning on marrying him, Maya? At that, the whole group burst out laughing. Sarah blinked, keeping the topic going. That actually reminds me. The Sterling family just found their long-lost son. You know, the sole heir to one of the biggest fortunes in New York. Jen chimed in. And if I remember right, the Vance family is interested in a marriage alliance with the Sterlings, right? Between Liam and the Sterling heir, who do you like more? Who do you want to marry? Listening to them, my heart started beating faster and faster. I couldn't help but look at Maya. And Maya, she drained her glass of red wine in one gulp and said firmly, Liam is the love of my life. That will never change. Hearing that, I couldn't help but smile a little. I felt the same way. Maya was the only person for me, and that would never change. But in the next second, I heard her say, But he's illegitimate. If I want to be the heir, I can't have any stains on my record. My heart felt like it had been hit by a truck. We're all adults. Some things don't have to be spelled out to be understood. She meant she was ashamed of where I came from. It made sense, I guess. My public identity was still the illegitimate son of the Reed family. I hadn't officially gone back to the Sterlings yet, but hearing those words, it sent a chill down my spine. Maya kept talking. An illegitimate son. What right does he have to be compared to the Sterling heir? He's from the bottom, and the other guy is royalty, worlds apart. I haven't forgotten how good Liam has been to me all these years, or the promises I made him, but things are different now. I'm back in the Vance family, the new heir. I have to marry someone on my level. The Sterling heir is the best choice. As for Liam, he's the love of my life. I'll take care of him forever. I'll never let him down. Everyone there, including me, was quiet for a second. Finally, someone spoke up. And you're so sure he'd be willing to be your secret lover for the rest of his life? Maya was silent for a moment. Her face was half hidden in the shadows, but I could still see she was serious. He will, she said. After all, he loves me that much. The first time Maya and I met, it was terrible. I had just been found by the Reed family. They didn't want me, but they couldn't just leave me on the street. So they raised me on the outside. There's a tall apartment building on the edge of the city, mostly home to people wealthy families want to hide. The Reeds packed me up and threw me in there. That day, I dragged my suitcase and walked step by step toward that building. Before I even got inside, I heard yelling nearby. I walked over carefully. Next to the building was a drainage ditch, and standing beside it was a little girl. It was 8-year-old Maya. Her clothes were ripped and there was a red mark on her face. A group of kids her age had surrounded her, trying to push her into the ditch. As I got closer, I could smell something awful. It was a smell I knew, like the muddy ditches back in the countryside. They were filled not just with trash, but with gross stuff, filthy. If you fell in, you'd smell for days. The girl was stubborn, refusing to move. Even after they slapped her a few more times, she wouldn't jump. The other kids got mad. They yelled at her, kicked her, and were about to push her in together. Her eyes were angry, filled with hate she had to hide. The sun was bright that day. I saw something shiny in her sleeve, a razor blade, but she was holding it toward herself. So I ran forward. I knew I couldn't beat them, so I put on a smile and asked if I could take Maya's punishment for her. They agreed. They said if I wanted them to let her go, I had to sit in that stinking ditch for an hour. That hour was terrible. It was a hot summer day, and who knows what kind of bugs were in that mud. I ended up in the hospital for 3 months because of it. In the hospital, Maya, with red eyes, held my hand tight and promised she would always protect me from then on. That's how we met, and after learning about each other's situations, we grew even closer. And those little bullies took even more pleasure in messing with us. They said Maya and I, the two outcasts, were perfect for each other. They had plenty of mean tricks. Maya had her ribs broken. I had my arms and legs broken. We'd lie in hospital beds together, totally beat up, from 8 to 23. We walked through 15 years together, going from friends to family and from family to lovers. When we were 18, Maya told me she loved me and took me to her dad's grave. She swore that whether we were poor or rich, I would always be her first choice. We even promised to get married as soon as we finished school. And then the Vance family heir died in an accident, and Maya was brought back, officially welcomed into the family. The people who used to look down on her came trying to be her friend. She looked so happy. She told me no one could ever bully us again. I thought our hard times were finally over. My thoughts came back to the present. I looked at Maya, who was still talking. And I wanted to ask if she'd forgotten what she said at her dad's grave. She said I would always be her first choice. Honestly, if she had just told me straight up that she was choosing a better future, that we could go our separate ways peacefully, I wouldn't have tried to stop her. But it couldn't be like this. A lover? She knew perfectly well how much pain her own dad and my mom had gone through for being the secret family. And now she wanted me to do the same thing? It was a joke. I stumbled back into the main hall. Maya found me a little later. Seeing I looked pale, she looked worried. If you're not feeling well, I'll take you home first, okay? Just as she finished speaking, Chloe let out a loud whistle from across the room. Maya seemed to remember something. She looked conflicted. Just then, a big shot in our social circle walked by. Without thinking, Maya let go of my shoulder and moved away from me, like she didn't want to be seen with me. Then more important people came in. Maya kept backing away until she couldn't go anywhere else, then turned and hurried over to Chloe. A moment later, my phone buzzed. Liam, I just remembered I have some important work to do. Grab a taxi home and make sure you get some rest. I'll be back with breakfast in the morning. I held my phone, watching through the glass as Maya's car drove away. So this is how much she cared. I didn't reply. I just started walking with no destination in mind. I don't know how long I walked. Finally, a car pulled up in front of me and a man got out. He walked over to me. He leaned down with a small smile. Young master, Desa, would you come have dinner at home tonight? I had a secret too. One I hadn't told Maya. 3 months ago, some people came to me with a DNA test saying I was their biological son. My real name is Liam Sterling. The very same Liam Sterling that Chloe and her friends were talking about. The long-lost heir to the Sterling family. In the car, I looked at the man beside me, Ethan. He was the son my birth parents had adopted. He was smart, nice, and generous. He had already transferred all of his shares in the company to me. He said, Liam, Mom and Dad were good to me. Everything that's yours, I was just managing for you. From now on, I'm your older brother. If you want to join the company, I'll work for you. If you don't want to manage it, I'll do it for you. All you have to do is be happy. That day, I finally had a real mom and dad. And a brother who cared about me. But I hadn't had a chance to tell Maya this secret yet. The timing was just too weird. The day the news broke about the Vance heir's death, all of the Vance family's other kids were called home. At the same time, my birth parents found me. I learned who I really was and wanted to tell Maya immediately, but I couldn't reach her for days. She only sent me one message. She said an opportunity had come up and she was working hard for it. It was only later, when rumors started flying that the Vance family was picking a new heir, that I understood what she meant. But the head of the Vance family was known for being all over the place. She had a ton of kids. To be chosen, you needed leverage. So I had to help her. I told my parents everything about my history with Maya. They understood. They were willing to help me. In exchange, my parents asked me to keep my identity a secret for a while. They wanted to see if Maya, after becoming the heir, would still stay with me. Love is easy when you're poor. But once you get power, things change. People get greedy. So they needed to be sure that Maya loved me for me, not for my status. As long as she chose me, both families would support her. So I agreed. And then, out of all the daughters, the Vance family really did choose Maya. The deadline was 3 months. Today was the last day. I had planned to tell her the truth tonight. From then on, we could finally stop hiding and live a normal life. But I had lost. I tried my best to keep it together as Ethan and I went back to the Sterling house. My parents were so happy. They had cooked a huge dinner and were now hovering around me, looking nervous and excited. Liam, your mother and I have talked about it. The 8th of next month is a good day. We'll announce who you are then. How does that sound? They spoke so carefully, afraid of upsetting me. I reached out and hugged them. Mom, Dad, whatever you decide is fine with me. They were so happy. These two people were wiping away tears, holding me like they never wanted to let go. After dinner, I went upstairs to rest. The bedroom was huge. Ethan knocked on the door, bringing me a glass of milk. Liam, Dad was just talking to me. He wanted to know if you'd be willing to change your name. It's okay if you don't want to. You can keep being Liam Reed. I took the milk and shook my head. Ethan, I want a new beginning. Ethan nodded. Okay, then you'll be Liam Sterling again. Time to start fresh. He paused and stepped a little closer. He looked like he wasn't sure if he should say something, but then he spoke. I heard about the bet you made with Mom and Dad. Today was supposed to be the last day, but you don't seem very happy. Ethan was smart. He could see right through me. Family is someone you can rely on. So I told him everything that had happened at the auction. When he finished listening, he was quiet for a moment, then looked angry. I thought after everything you two went through, she wouldn't forget her promises to you, even after getting rich. I never imagined she would look down on you or want to keep you as a secret. She's got some nerve. I wonder if she can even hold on to that position. He looked down, trying to calm down. Someone who isn't worthy. Our Liam will just let them go. Right? Seeing the hope in his eyes, I nodded. Yes, I would choose to let her go. Once I made up my mind, some things had to be cut out of my life. So the next day, I went back to the apartment where I'd lived for most of my life to get my important papers. I wasn't planning on taking anything else, but just as I came out of the bedroom, I saw Maya walking through the door. Our eyes met. She looked a little guilty and quickly explained, Liam, I had too much work yesterday, so I slept at the office. As she spoke, she walked over and pinched my cheek. I'll try to come home earlier to be with you from now on, okay? I didn't move. As she got close, I smelled alcohol and perfume. I was so thrown off by it that I didn't pull away in time. But since I had decided to leave, I needed to make things clear. I took a deep breath. Maya, before I graduate, why are you bringing up getting married after graduation again? Before I could finish, she cut me off, tugging at her scarf. Liam, I said I'd marry you after graduation. But things have changed. To keep my spot in the family, I have to focus on work. I'm busy every day. I'm not asking you to help, but can you just not cause me trouble? See? A woman who suddenly gets power can become totally different. But that wasn't what I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to say that before I graduated, we needed to clear things up and void that promise. Besides, she never really intended to marry Liam Reed anyway. After venting, Maya rubbed her head, then went to the kitchen. You're up so early, you must be hungry. You have a sensitive stomach. I'll make you some noodles. After you eat, there's something I need to talk to you about. I watched her go into the kitchen. I was about to speak when her phone on the table rang. I glanced at it. It was a text message. For your father's sake, I let you choose. You picked Liam Sterling and said you didn't want to marry Liam Reed because his status would hurt you. I respect your choice. If you regret it later, don't blame me. So it wasn't that she couldn't choose. It was that she weighed her options and chose to give me up. If I still cared before, it all felt like a joke after seeing that message. This was for the best. It would be easier to move on. The phone kept ringing. Maya finally realized, rushed out, and grabbed it. I looked down. She breathed a sigh of relief, thinking I hadn't seen. But I stood up. Maya, let's break up. She froze for a second, then grabbed my hand. Liam, what are you talking about? How could we break up? She gripped my wrist tight, looking panicked. Liam, we promised to be together forever. How could you forget? How could you bring up breaking up? She was clinging to my arm. It hurt. I tried to push her away but couldn't. Luckily, her phone buzzed again. It was a message from a friend, a whole bunch of them. She let go of me and picked up her phone. As if to hide it, she turned the screen away. But there was a mirror in the living room. I could see the messages. Maya, get here ASAP. Your future husband might be here. Quick, make a good impression. Reply now. Liam or the sterling heir, you have to choose. If you want power, stop waiting. Otherwise, just marry Liam. I'd respect that. I looked away from the mirror and back at Maya. Dainhom. She seemed to be struggling with whether to stay or go find the sterling heir. I didn't move. I wanted to see what she would do. The next moment she looked up, looking sorry. Liam, I'm sorry. Something came up. We can talk when I get back. She grabbed her coat and ran out. The coat whipped across my face. It stung. I looked in the mirror. There was a red scratch on my face. I pressed my hand to it. This was good. This time I could finally let go. When Ethan came to pick me up, there was another guy in the car. He waved. Cousin, I finally get to meet you. I gathered he was Toby. He was my uncle's son, a twin. His sister was named Mia. Cousin, Mia and I were studying abroad. We just found out Uncle found you, so I rushed back. Mia's grades were bad, so Dad was mad. Plus she snuck back, so she's getting yelled at right now. Toby was friendly, putting an arm around my shoulder. I was actually going to buy you a gift, but then this crowd of people appeared calling me Mr. Sterling. It freaked me out, so I called Ethan. So the sterling heir, in the messages Maya got, was a misunderstanding. Toby had been gone for years, so people didn't know him. Using the black card, he was mistaken for Liam Sterling. It was almost funny. Toby hugged me, talking about how the family had looked for me for years. Uncle and Aunt have cried every night. They love you. So do I. He smiled. I smiled back. This was my family too. When we got back to the house, my parents rushed out, grabbing my hands. Looking at them, my heart felt softer. I may have lost a toxic love, but I got a great family. I was truly happy. It was still early, so Toby dragged me upstairs. In my room, Toby closed the door. Liam, is there something you want to talk about? Toby hesitated, then took out his phone. Ethan said you'd be upset, but I think you should know. He showed me a video. You know how it is. We're in a lot of group chats. Yesterday someone posted this. It has Maya in it. I took the phone and pressed play. The video was in a VIP room. Rich girls were laughing. Maya was chatting with Chloe. They looked like best friends. Then Jen clapped, and a line of guys walked in. The girls picked one each. Maya didn't move. Jen sat next to her. So, Miss Vance, not going to pick one? Maya shook her head. Jen laughed. Everyone has side pieces. We know you like Liam, but he's just an illegitimate son. He's nothing. You're not saving yourself for him, are you? The room laughed. Maya looked mad. What's his status? He's just illegitimate. Why would I save myself for him? Then she grabbed a guy named Greg. She paused for a second, then kissed him. A real kiss. Everyone laughed again. Jen gave her a room key. Maya took the key, pulled the guy up, and left the room. The video ended. I stared at the screen. She was someone I had loved for years, even though I decided to leave. Seeing that hurt. Liam, if you don't make a clean break, you'll get hurt more. Toby looked serious. He hugged me. It's okay, we don't want trash. You deserve the best. That night, Toby planned to stay over, but his mom called and he had to run. I went back to my room. I had a bad dream. I was 15. It was Maya's birthday. I bought a cake, but we never ate it. Chloe and her friend smashed it on Maya's face. They hit her. I tried to save her, but hit Jen. She beat my legs with a stick. It rained that night. Maya carried me to the hospital. She swore she would be on top one day so no one could hurt us. The dream ended with her looking obsessed. I woke up sweating. There was a knock. It was Ethan. The weather's nice. Mom and Dad want me to take you shopping. I agreed. After breakfast, I took the black card and went to the mall. Ethan was busy. He took 5 calls in the car. Inside, his phone rang again. I told him to take it, and I'd wander around. I went to the luxury floor. I used to be afraid to look at these stores. Now I had a black card. I turned a corner and bumped right into Maya, and next to her was Greg, the guy from the video. He was carrying bags. Seeing me, Maya froze. It wasn't until Greg put his arm around her that she snapped out of it. She shook him off and grabbed my wrist. "Liam, it's not what it looks like. Let me explain." She sounded scared. "The family has obligations. A partner's daughter has a party. I don't know anything about girls' stuff, so I had my assistant help me shop. That's all." She turned to Greg. "Tell him. There's nothing going on, right?" Greg nodded, looking amused. "That's right. I'm just helping Miss Vance shop." He paused. "And absolutely nothing is going on." He emphasized the words. I pulled my hand away. "Who you shop with has nothing to do with me. I told you yesterday we're over." Maya turned cold. She grabbed my wrist again. "Liam, yell at me if you want, but don't break up. We're going to be together forever." I laughed. I wanted to leave us with some dignity. But she was forcing me. I looked her in the eye. "At the auction, I saw you with your friends. I heard what you said. I saw the text yesterday. I know where you went when you ran out. I even saw a video of you kissing this guy." I paused. She looked pale. "So don't talk about misunderstandings. I will never be your lover. Breaking up is best." She shook her head. "No, I didn't." "Didn't what?" I stepped closer. "Didn't plan to marry the Sterling heir? Didn't plan on not marrying me? Or didn't kiss this guy?" "Liam, I admit it, but I love you. We have to be together. The two aren't mutually exclusive." She said it seriously. I couldn't hold back. I slapped her. "Maya, you make me sick." Then I kicked her. "Liam, this mall belongs to the Sterlings. I don't mind making a scene. But are you willing to bet that after this blows up, you'll still get what you want?" She let go instantly. See? This was the person I loved. I ran. I crashed into Ethan. I wanted to cry. Ethan hugged me. "You've been through a lot." That night, Toby told me someone beat up Maya. She was in the hospital. I didn't go out for days. Maya kept calling. I blocked her. I changed my number. But I had to go to campus for my thesis. I ran into Maya. She closed the classroom door. "Liam, do you know what you're doing?" She looked bad, but she smiled. "I couldn't find you." She took out a folder. "I bought you a villa in Miami. You can live there." I shook my head. "I won't be your lover." She continued. "What's so bad about it? You just have to be happy." I slapped her again. She took out another paper. "I spoke with your father. He sold you to me. You're mine." It was Mr. Reed's signature. Ridiculous. I tore it up. "Maya, if you're sick, see a doctor. I'm not merchandise." She looked emotional. "Liam, you promised never to leave. You said I was your first choice." "You were the one who thought my status was too low. If you loved me, you'd want me as a husband." She shook her head. "I have to be on top to protect you." Ridiculous. She was just greedy. I climbed out the window. She tried to grab me. I threw a chair at her and ran. I saw Ethan's car, safe. For a while, I stayed home. Toby and Mia moved in. They were fun. We explored the house. It was huge. Toby told stories about getting lost in the maze. Life was good. The only bad thing was Maya sending gifts for Liam Sterling. We returned them. Mia checked the brands. Same ones Greg was holding. So, Greg was lying about the gifts being for a girl. The day of the party arrived. Mia picked my suit. Ethan said I looked sharp. Before the party, Toby and Mia came to me. "Liam, we did something bad." Toby admitted they texted Maya to test her. Airport or party? If she went to the airport to stop Liam Reed from leaving, she loved him. If she came to the party for Liam Sterling, she chose power. Maya got the text. 3 p.m. He's leaving forever. She panicked, wanted to go to the airport, but the driver asked if they were going to the party. She snapped back to reality. The party was her chance. She convinced herself she could have both. She chose the party. She arrived late. She thought the star always arrives last. She stood at the entrance, nervous. She walked in. Her future husband was there. She extended her hand. "Hello, mister." "Sterling, I turned around. Her smile froze. She stared at me. I looked at Ethan. Julian, this guest is rude. Remove her. Ethan called security. She wouldn't go. She looked angry and confused. Security dragged her out. My parents announced there was no marriage alliance. Ethan led me to the stage. The Sterling son can marry who he wants. The party ended. Everyone knew who I was. Maya tried to find me. Toby won the bet. On graduation day, I brought bodyguards. I ran into Maya. She looked terrible. She tried to lunge at me. Guards blocked her. I hope this is the last time we see each other. She smiled bitterly. If you told me you were Liam Sterling, I wouldn't have schemed. You think this is my fault? You were chosen because I asked my parents to give you a chance. I didn't tell you because I wanted to trust you. I thought we would choose each other, but you only choose me when you have nothing. Once you got power, you wanted more. If I was just Liam Reed, I'd be your secret. Do you know how cruel that is? So I don't love you anymore. I turned to leave. She screamed, "Do you not care about the past?" I looked at the sky. Liam Reed can't let go, but I am Liam Sterling. Was there anything between us? I don't think so. Later, the Vance family collapsed. Maya went crazy, muttering about power. No one cared. I moved on.